Sneaky face, Noggin, I've got a question for you before we start our book group. If you could be any chemical compound, which one would you be?
Janus, you might consider iron pyrite.
Fool's gold. That's a great one for you, Master of Masks, because it looks like gold, but it isn't.
I like silicon dioxide. Standard glass, it's pleasingly chemically inert. Okay, Remus, what chemical compound would you be?
Magnesium, iron, silicate, hydroxide.
Remus, how dare you sully science with such filth? I absolutely understand what's going on.
It's a chemical compound called Coming Tonight.
Named after Cummington, the town in America where it was discovered.
Loosely cover the pudding, tying the edges with a string like a Christmas slit.
Remus, you are in the kitchen, unsupervised. You are not supposed to be in the kitchen unsupervised, not after the popcorn incident.
You said that if I followed a recipe absolutely exactly, I could cook in the kitchen.
I did say that.
So I've been following a recipe absolutely exactly.
I am far from reassured.
I might have put it through a couple of Google translations first, though.
Remove it from the steamer, allow it to cool a small, and then evacuate.
Dare I ask what you are attempting to make?
Spotted dick pudding. It's a British dessert. So I put it through Scots Gaelic, and then Japanese, and then back to English. I was kind of hoping that through all those translations it might be called a diseased penis pudding, but it didn't. This next rule is entirely Patton's fault. He saw a video on the internet of somebody touching a snake's nose and thought it was adorable. Therefore, there is to be no booping of Janus's nose. I swear, next time to try it, I'm sorely tempted to bite to make it clear that I do not care for it. Remus, however, does not boop with a finger. Given his habit of picking his nose, you might think that this is a positive thing. It is not. Remus attempts to boop with his morning star at velocity. Remus is no longer allowed to refer to cutlery as food weapons. This is because the temptation to then stab other sides with forks, knives, spoons and chopsticks appears to be too much for him.
Fork you!
I have lost a bet with Remus. Apparently he can sneeze so hard it causes an eye to pop out. Anyway, this is the forfeit that he chose.
Ha! Viper Piper! Literal snake charmer.
Delighted to receive an invitation for tea.
Thought it might be nice to get a chance to talk. Get to know our neighbours, as it were. Agreed. I'm just here to make sure you don't try anything sneaky. Me too. I have my eye on you.
If we are all here, then where is Remus?
Well, Remus is a bit much.
Remus can be somewhat exuberant.
That's one way to put it.
If he really does something you do not like, I find ignoring him serves best.
He isn't always that easy to ignore. However, he has mentioned, in passing, a rulebook. We thought you might be a pal and add some rules to help moderate his more extreme behaviours.
That is not what the rulebook is for. I will not add rules for your convenience.
Then how do we stop him being so Remus?
You do not. Remus embodies several aspects, as do we all. You would not seek to make Logan illogical. It would grate against the very core of his being.
I had not considered that.
Perhaps a change of subject is in order. This is terrible.
Terrible? What's wrong with the tea? He's lying. It's what he does. Ugh, trying to work out what you're trying to say is a nightmare. Why can you not speak clearly?
Because deception is part of my function, my aspect. I do not ask that you agree with it, but deceit is who I am.
See, he'll be no help in dealing with Remus. Even if he did offer guidance, we couldn't trust anything that he said. I told you so. You did.
I see. Foolish of me to think that you might have invited me solely for the pleasure of my company, and not just because I might offer help in dealing with Remus. Tell me I'm wrong. Thank you for the tea and your time. It has been informative.
Sneaky face, you're back.
I am not.
How was it, your little light-side chit-chat?
Delightful.
Thought you'd have liked it. Little baby steps towards getting more accepted.
I learnt some hard truths today and find them disappointing. Forgive me, I'm in an excellent mood and will be fantastic company. You do not have to stay if you do not want to.
Why would I not want to hang out with you, especially if you're feeling down in the dumps? You probably don't want to go dumpster diving, but do you want to vent all about the quality of their tea?
They didn't even warm the teapot. Speaking of, I would like a decent cup of tea. Will you join me, Remus?
Can I have 8 sugars?
If you must.
Oh, you want I should go bring you back a bag of their back teeth? Would that make you feel better?
I doubt very much that would improve relations between the light and the dark sides. But the offer is not appreciated.
Remus, how can I assist you? You are upset?
You know, for such a smarty pants, you can be a real knucklehead sometimes, Logan.
Ah, I apologise. After reflection on what Janus had said, I have come to the conclusion that it would indeed be unfair to try and modify your behaviours. He was right.
That's not even why I'm mad at you.
I do not understand.
Sneaky Face has been in a sulk since he went and visited you lot and got treated like a piece of encrusted underwear.
It was not our intention to upset him.
Of course he's upset. How would you like if you got summoned up just to solve some problem like that was all you were good for?
That occurs to me quite regularly.
Wait, what?
3. I'm often called upon for my knowledge over my other attributes. You yourself have done so, summoning me to help support your arguments with Janus.
I do that. Do.
In fairness, you also spend time with me beyond calling upon my help. I appreciate that, even if it gives Hercules more work to do afterwards to clean up.
Well, sure, you're loads of fun to hang out with, and you know so much stuff. But, seems to me like all of us might need to make some changes.
Kiddo? What are you up to?
You wanted new rules, well, you got them. Rule 1, respect one another or sod right off. Rule the 2nd, don't be a butthole. 3rd rule, we all have purpose. Don't impede another's rule. It's a sorry state of affairs when it comes to me to teach you guys some manners. I totally don't contemplate introducing them to the blunt end of my staff. Repeatedly.
He's not allowed to do that anymore. One of his rules.
There are some other stipulations that Remus has requested of me in the event of an unideal conversation with another. 1, I'm to ensure that I've had something to eat, so that my blood sugar levels are not negatively affecting my judgment of what would be suitable retaliation. I mean resolution. On that vein, I am also to make sure that I've had a cup of tea and a nap so that I'm well rested and ready to address feelings of upset in a calm and civil manner. Of course, should the other side not be receptive to a conversation about past mistakes that were made, well, I'm not one to hold a grudge.
Liar alert. He's got a book of grievances. It's 3 times the size of the rule book.
Someone is getting their name added to the list. Again.
It is ill-advised to pursue with this line of experimentation.
I think it would be very fun and informative. Therefore, I call up Janus as the deciding vote.
I was entirely ready to be summoned.
Sneaky Face, if I want to do a thing and it isn't against any of the rules, can I do it?
Yes. Was that a lie, Janus? Yes. Which means he spoke a lie, and therefore you cannot do it, Remus.
No, but I can. Janus said yes first, and then yes the second time when you asked him about if he was lying or not, which means he was most likely telling the truth the first time and then lying about lying the second, which means I get to do the thing.
He could be lying both times.
No, he couldn't. Think it through.
Very well. If the first instance is a lie, and he does not grant you permission, the second is also a lie, that makes the first answer a truth, resulting in paradox. Conversely, if the first is a truth, and the second also a truth, no, that doesn't work either. How did you work that out so quickly, Remus?
I've spent a lot of time with him, so I've had loads of practice. I'm going to go see what happens if you put water-reactive alkali metals down Roman's toilet. Bye!
What?
Remus, I've been meaning to talk with you. Do you have a moment?
Yes. What's up?
This has been bothering me for a while. It was wrong of you to throw a ninja star at my head in the episode dealing with intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You misunderstand me. I do not seek apology. I have a growing appreciation for your role as the dark side of creativity, and have come to expect bouts of impulsiveness as part of that. My point is that a ninja star, or shuriken, is not a throwing weapon.
What?
It translates to hand blade, and was intended as a concealed dagger.
Wait. You're annoyed because I threw the star at you rather than stab you with it.
Yes.
Huh.
Utilizing it to attempt metsubushi, or eye blinding, would have also been accurate to its intended purpose.
That sounds really messy.
If you would like, I would be happy to provide demonstration of proper usage of a shuriken.
You know what? I would like that. Less so these days, due to a near-continuous exposure to things that would normally elicit a squeamish response.
Exposure?
Remus, put your clothes back on. As you can tell, cohabiting with Remus has rendered me somewhat desensitized to some of his antics. It would be remiss of me not to mention, however, that Remus has a way with words, and can craft a phrase that will turn heads and stomachs alike, even mine.
Moist, engorged pustules, erupting.
How lovely. Sneaky face, Noggin! Want to hear something gross?
I suspect we do not have a choice.
Ready?
As I shall ever be. Go ahead.
144.
Oh, very droll, Remus. Well done. I don't get it.
A gross is a term for a dozen, or 12 squared. So 144 is a literal gross.
I know you guys are reading, but dinner's ready. Come and get it. Yeah, everyone. Remus offered to cook, and so we have plenty.
How uncharacteristically helpful of him. What has he prepared?
Kebabs. And since it was a special occasion, he's called them Donner Party Kebabs. How fun! He wouldn't.
He would. You go intercept the light sides to make sure they don't eat anything. I will find Remus.
Huh?
I'm the only magic figure to tell it. I should have known Logan would be quick. See, I was going to wait till after everybody'd eaten my doner kebabs, and then ask Logan to tell us about bold adventures and pioneering. It sounds like the kind of thing that Roman might like. Then I would nudge him towards talking about the donor party expedition. It would have been great watching as people slowly started to catch on. I bet Virgil would have puked in panic. But to be clear, the kebabs that you've prepared contain lamb, and lamb only. Yeah, I figured actual cannibalism was off the table, so to speak, seeing as we're trying to play nice with the light sides. A rare moment of insight on your part. A new plan for this evening. You get to recite all the grisly details of the Donner Party disaster. Logan can probably help but provide additional details.
I like it so far.
Then you can invite the others to eat. They can then make their own informed choices about whether they would like a kebab after all that historic knowledge. Meanwhile, I shall make a salad in case anybody feels like the vegetarian option might appeal to their appetite more. Sounds way less fun than making everybody think they've eaten unprocessed soylent green, but I see your point. I would try to reassure them that the food is safe, but that stands a chance of backfiring if they don't believe me. Therefore, I shall have a helping, to show through actions rather than words that the food is safe. Let's party! I don't get mad that often. If I was to get my knickers in a twist every time somebody didn't like something I said or did, well, I'd have cut off the blood circulation to my legs by now and they'd have dropped off. Other bits too, if you know what I mean. And people trying to insult me is usually just hysterically funny. I mean, I am grotty and gross and demented and disgusting. So somebody trying to say that to me, it's like calling poop stinky. I do get angry if somebody hurts Janus or Logan or Roman, my brother. And that's when I really want to batter some brains in with my morning star. But, as Janus keeps saying, we're trying to reach middle ground with the light sides, and since they seem to be unwilling to compromise, we gotta make the extra effort. Which means no splatter horror house in their walls. Even if it would look amazing. There are times I would dearly like to fathom out what goes on in that marvellous muddle you call a mind, Remus. Today is not one of those times. I am not going to ask why the common area walls have been transformed into something fleshy that appears to be breathing and growing hair and eyes and too many teeth. Instead, I am going to take a long, uneventful bath. When I emerge, I have an expectation that the common area walls should be returned to their inorganic state.
I'll have finished harvesting by then.
No, not even a little bit. Not at all. I don't want to know. I'm not going to ask. No, no, no.
Have a nice bath, Snaky Face. Don't drown and turn into a bloated and sodden snake corpse.
Thank you.
Logan, I was not expecting you till book group day.
Lately, Roman has been listless and demotivated, and I hypothesize that he is bored. As I assisted you when Remus was bored, I would now like for you to return the favour as agreed.
I understand. I have not made a plan for such eventuality. Remus! It is time to execute Plan Cardio. I've been looking forward to this. While you're in the light sides, will you please deliver this invitation for tea to Patton for me? I'm going to throw it at his head, because it's not a shuriken. Patton should be joining us shortly. I'm going to go put a pot of tea on in preparation. Would you care for a cup, Logan?
I thought that you were going to help with Roman.
Trust me. I'm so nefarious.
Janice, where are Logan and Patton?
I have not kidnapped your little friends. Now I shall away to my dark side lair beyond my many defences.
They need rescued.
Would you care for a biscuit, Patton? You may have bested my acid pitfall traps, but let us see how you handle my shrapnel hippo maid. More tea, Logan?
Why is the barbed wire electrified?
Remus, good of you to join us. Robin will be here any minute. He's just extracting himself from the slime pond. Help yourself to tea and biscuits.
Patton, Logan, I'm here to save you.
Hey, bro, want a biscuit?
Kiddo, we don't need saved, but we've saved you a seat. Come join us. No, I will not sit with him. I've been chasing that shyster snake all across the mindscape.
Whilst exercise is a valuable form of exertion and well known for jump-starting creativity, I regret to inform you, Roman, that I have been here all afternoon.
I can attest to that. Then, you.
Me?
You tricked me.
I did not. I distinctly said I have not kidnapped your little friends. Neither have I. I have simply invited you all for tea.
Why was I not given an invite then?
You were. I sent Remus to go and fetch you, and here you are.
This is outrageous.
No, it's oolong.
I will not stand for this. Take a seat then, kiddo. Pass me a biscuit. What did you think of my obstacle course? Pretty fun, huh? I was chased by a hippo. Yeah, it was mad. It nearly ate your face. Hippos are vegetarian, but they still kill more people than tigers do per year. They crunch about that biscuits. Ugh. This is why a hippopotamus has no place in an obstacle course. Which is why more obstacle courses should have hippos. Another biscuit, Roman. Your last one seems to have fallen into your teacup. I will not be won over by biscuits. Oh, please. According to you, I've just executed a most skillful subterfuge, beyond any retribution. That's it. I shall retaliate. Please. I live with Remus. It takes rather a lot to shock me. You'd have to come up with something really spectacular. Psst, Broman! I could help! Snaky made me bathe last week, so I owe him some retaliation too. Let us away to plan then. Bring the plate of biscuits. We shall need snacks. Janus, was it your intention that the twins would work together against you? No. I am going to find some duct tape to secure this shut, and then I am not going to go clobber Remus over the head with it.
Janus, I came to check in on you. Roman has been up for hours, and Remus will not stop giggling. I assume they have enacted whatever scheme they had planned as revenge. Are you well?
Oh, I am just peachy, Logan. I woke up this morning to find that every single piece of teaware has been vandalised in some form or another. There were scorpions in my teapot, and every mug has been superglued to the ceiling.
It does seem that you have resorted to uncommon methodology.
If by uncommon methodology you mean that I've been reduced to drinking tea out of a gravy jug, then yes. I would offer you some, but we only have the one gravy jug.
You could always come over to the light side and have a cup of tea there.
That would be extremely unwise. Until I've had my morning cup of tea, I'm liable to have murderous intent towards the twins. Patton would approve, I'm sure. After a short rest and a snack, as well as a pot of tea, albeit drank from a gravy jug, I am feeling decidedly less irked at Remus and Roman. So you can come out now. Liar! I can see you waiting to hit me with your staff.
Hey kiddo, I heard that you and Logan had a book group.
We do. Remus also sometimes attends.
Well, it occurred to me that I don't really know that much about you. I don't even know what kind of books you like to read. So I thought maybe I could join.
You would be welcome, Patton.
Wonderful! So what book are we reading?
Whichever book you wish to bring.
We don't all read the same book and then talk about it?
Why would I wish to read what somebody else dictates that I should?
For the shared experience.
Furthermore, how would we choose as a group which book to focus on?
Somebody could recommend their favourite book.
That sounds like a surefire way to start a fight. We each have varied tastes, and frankly, we do not need another topic on which to disagree upon. I like our book group better. You bring your book, you have peace to read it, and when the tea runs out, leave.
Oh.
You are still welcome, but I shall be brewing the tea.
This is nice. Logan, what book are you reading?
Isaac Asimov's classic, I, Robot.
And you, Janus?
Smoke and Mirrors by Neil Gaiman. I'm enjoying it. You may have it when I am finished.
That would be great. This is a really nice cup of tea, Janus. If you read the same book twice, would you say that you reviewed it? Patton! Quit your yammering. Some of us are trying to read.
I do not hate Virgil.
I do, however, hate how things turned out between us. Before making an appearance, Virgil resided with me and Remus and the others in the dark. We worked backstage, fulfilling our roles, but hidden. Virgil wanted to announce himself to the Lightsides and to Thomas, and I thought this was a bad idea, a dangerous idea, and I said as much. Virgil decided that since I am deceit, I was purposely lying to keep him in the dark, and he left. What complicates matters is that I did not lie, not in that instance. I genuinely thought we were safer in the dark. It's harder to be hurt if you're hidden, and selfishly I wanted to keep myself safe. Despite my fears, Virgil has thrived, perhaps more than you would have in the dark. I hate that I've been proven wrong. Logan! Wanna hang out?
The lab remained structurally unsound after our last scientific endeavour. It was supposed to be a small, controlled exothermic reaction. I remain puzzled at the explosive result.
Well, I might have accidentally on purpose mixed up micrograms and milligrams.
Remus, there are 1,000 milligrams per gram. However, there are 1,000,000 micrograms per gram. You exceeded my suggested weight of nitric acid by a factor of 1,000.
Boom! I'm guessing more science is off the table for now, so let's do something else.
For example?
We could see where Snakey's hiding his chocolate stash these days.
Perhaps something less likely to infuriate Janus.
We could see how many farts it takes to pop a balloon.
Honestly, that does not appeal.
What about a game of chess? I'll let you win.
Why would you do that?
Well, Roman gets annoyed if I beat him when we're sparring, and then he doesn't want to continue, so most times I let him win.
It defeats the point of playing if you lose on purpose.
Or I could kick your ass.
Kick your ass, meaning to punish or defeat someone. You are that confident in your abilities?
Yeah.
I did not take you for an accomplished chess player.
Oh, you're still talking about chess. Virgil! Just the side I wanted to see. How are you feeling? Stressed? Please say yes. Well, see, I made a new stress toy. And I like it because it looks like a bat. And if I do that, it looks even more like a butt. So here, you can have this, and then when you're stressed, you can squeeze my butt. I'll pass. Batten! You look stressed. I've got something to help with that.
Remus, that was a very loud sound, which I'm not at all concerned about. What happened?
Something went a bit wrong.
Clearly.
It was supposed to implode.
Please tell me you are not trying to make a black hole. Again.
I can't do that, because I am trying to make a black hole. Again.
Wait just a moment, there is a rule about this. You are not allowed to mess with the physics of the mindscape. Last time you changed gravity, Logan got very upset.
He did. But see, mess with is kind of a hazy term. For example, if I was to conjure up a whole bunch of sentient avocados out of nothing, would that break the rule?
No, that would be an average Tuesday.
Therefore, I was trying to conjure up enough massive things that it would trigger a miniature black hole, but it exploded instead.
Why were you trying to make a black hole anyway?
Oh, it's my turn to do the dishes.
You tried to manifest a black hole to get out of doing the dishes.
I would rather fake my death, move to Timbuktu and make a living selling pre-chewed chewing gum than stand around scrubbing crockery all day. But you can't clean something that's been rendered down to its molecular components by a black hole.
It's not that difficult.
It's not difficult, it's worse, it's boring. Wait a minute. How come I never see you doing the dishes?
I have my own ways of getting the plates and cutlery clean.
Nice gloves, you just finished doing the dishes? Not for the last 3 years, I've not. Sinister sing-along time! Logan says I've got to make it clear that this is a possible interpretation of a song, but it's great and grisly, and so I like it the best. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Now, it could be a song about a lady doing some gardening, or Mary the First took the throne in Britain way back when. And she was known as Bloody Mary because she killed a lot of people. See, she was a Catholic and most of the country was Protestant, and she wanted to convert people through any means necessary. Silver bells and cockle shells are torture implements. And if the torture wasn't enough to get people to switch faiths, well, maidens are a form of execution. Good old Bloody Mary turned a lot of people into compost. So I guess she did do a bit of gardening.
Kiddo, I've noticed that Remus and Logan are hanging out more.
Yes, it seems that they have a shared interest in what Remus calls sciencey stuff.
Are you sure it's wise to let them interact?
What do you mean?
Well, Remus learning more ways to make things explode is maybe not that great.
True, but since having a dedicated lab space, I've noticed a significant decrease in the number of random fires, explosions, puddles of acid, and bits of radioactive material littered about the place.
We've noticed an increase. Such things were never an issue before Remus started visiting Logan.
Maybe not on your side.
What was that?
Nothing. Eight, 9, 10. Right. You are not allowed to do whatever it is you are plotting. It's one of the rules.
Too late, already did it. Just waiting for Roman to find it now. Shouldn't be long.
I think that I will avoid becoming guilty by association and make myself scarce.
But you'll miss the fun.
Take pictures.
Janus, I have come to return the book that you lent me. I enjoyed it.
I thought it might appeal to you.
Your hat today is set at an aesthetically pleasing angle.
Thank you.
Have we engaged in significant preamble that I can address the real reason I came to see you? I would like to make use of your experience, but do not wish for you to feel that that is all I deem that you have to offer. We can talk further if that would help assure you that I hold you in high regard and respect.
Logan, you have been in attendance of the book group long enough that I have gathered you do not care much for small talk. But that you would consider making such an effort on my behalf is insufficient. I mean, more than enough. So, what's on your mind?
The neurocranium bones, naturally. I wanted to ask your advice for how to impress upon Remus the importance of safety in the lab.
Remus does have a somewhat lax grip on safety standards.
Things explode regularly when he's in attendance, and he drinks the liquid from beakers without verifying what the contents are. There is now a section of the lab that is slightly radioactive, and parts of the floor are marked with acid drips and burns.
If you do not like what he does in your lab, you are allowed to ban him. It is your lab space, after all. Be selfish.
Remus would be upset if I was to revoke his invitation to share the lab space.
Then let him use the lab space.
But he gives Hercules so much more work to do, cleaning up after him.
Then ban him from the lab space.
Remus has shown surprising skill in chemical calculus. He often can work out an equation or quantity needed much faster than I, except for when he purposefully mixes up milligrams and micrograms.
I'm not sure what you want me to say here, Logan. What do you want?
I do not wish to lose him as a lab partner. He has such joy from even the most basic of chemical reactions, such as something catching on fire, intentionally or otherwise. But he can be distracting, to the point of detriment to the work I am doing.
Tell him that, then. Friendship does not mean that you allow somebody to take advantage of you. Lay out the consequences for his actions and let him make his own choice about what he does.
That is good advice. Thank you, Janus.
You are not welcome. I mean, you are welcome.
I knew what you meant. Miss, I need an idea for a dramatic villain reveal, and Logan! What are you doing in the dark side? He's reading, Dunderhead. What's it look like? It is a weekly book group. I've been coming for months. You have? Are you sure that's a good idea? Spending time with them? Hey!
I do so like it when people talk about me as if I was not here.
Janus and Remus have proven themselves just as much part of Thomas as the rest of us. I know, but I'm only looking out for you, Logan. You can't trust him.
Because everything I say is a lie.
You see? Nothing but falsehoods. You are mistaken, Roman. Janus just proved that he can tell the truth by lying. It is called the liar's paradox. If what he declared was true, then it couldn't be, due to the statement not being a lie. Remus and I have been exploring logical paradoxes. I wanted to see if I could make Brainiac's brains explode out his ears. Such reaction would serve little purpose and be needlessly illogical.
Not to mention messy.
Snaky, got you something.
Remus, we are done with this. You have to stop with this insane insinuation that because I have snake scales, I must not have toes because snakes don't have toes.
Actually, since you're so adamant on the topic, I've decided to believe you.
Minor miracle. Socks usually come in pairs.
Well, since you're a half-sided snake-like, I figured maybe you've only got toes on one foot, so you'd only need one toe sock.
I am not going to scream. Hey, bookworms.
Salutations, Remus. Have you come to join the book group today?
Not today. I just want to pop by and say something to you, Logan. 0 is an even and an odd number.
Are you still trying to break Logan's brain meat with logical paradoxes?
Yeah.
You need better hobbies.
Sneaky? Logan's gone kind of quiet. Maybe I did break him. It's a bit disappointing. I thought his brain would start oozing out of his ears or something.
I am not at all concerned.
Logan!
Apologies. I am trialling a new system of appraising your statements and behaviours, but until I have more practice in it, I foresee some delays in my responses. To answer your question, Remus, 0 is a mathematical construct, as well as a word denoting the absence of something. For example, there are 0 zebras in this room. Remus, do not conjure zebras. 0 as an absence would be neither odd or even, due to there being a lack of subject matter. Mathematically, it is established that 0 is an even number, not odd, which would seem to contradict your statement. However, odd also has a further meaning of strange or peculiar, and in that, 0 is rather odd, in that it has a number of unique properties. So I guess you could say that 0 is both odd and even. Interesting.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Me neither. I am somewhat alarmed. I am always wary when somebody agrees with you, Remus. You mentioned that you were enacting a new system for when interacting with Remus. I am not at all curious to learn more. I have a series of factors to check against what Remus might say and then react accordingly. In the event that Remus says or does something Remusy, for want of a better word. 1. Is it crude, rude, disgusting, or intended to shock? If so, go to step 2. If not, go to 5. 2. Does the statement or behaviour or question fall within reasonable remit of intrusive thoughts or dark creativity? If so, go to 3. If not, go to step 4. 3. Remus seeks reaction, and so a suitable response here will please him. Assume expression of shock, aghast, smirk, or frown as appropriate. Step 4. If statement or behaviour is not to be encouraged, then ignore. Step 5. Is there innuendo or reference intended to mislead? If so, seek clarification, to either aid others who may have missed the innuendo, as well as to provide Remus further fodder should he have a punchline in mind. Else, go to step 6. 6. Is Remus trying to provoke another? If a warning would be of merit, provide one. Else, go to step 2 and follow on from there. 7. Is Remus asking for a piece of knowledge that would be dangerous for him to know? If acceptable for him to learn, provide knowledge. Else, see step 4, potentially with an added explanation that such information will not be distributed.
Jeez, and I thought my brain was busy. I'm surprised your brains don't leak out your ears, Logan, with all that going on. Hang on, though. You said that step 4 was to ignore me. I don't like that. I hate being ignored.
That is the point. Reaction, positive or negative, seems to be primary motivation for your actions. Therefore, ignoring behaviour should discourage them, as there is less reason to do so if you do not get reaction.
What if I get worse instead, and make you acknowledge me?
That is to be expected. I would anticipate an extinction burst in response.
What's that?
When a behaviour is denied the usual reward, the behaviour is often repeated with more intensity to try and elicit the desired response. Imagine a pigeon in a box that has been trained to peck a button for a food pellet. If the pigeon pecks and no food emerges, the pigeon is likely to peck and peck at the button over and over, usually with more force, until it tires of the lack of response and stops. I am going to take this opportunity, Remus, to remind you of the rule that there are to be no more birds. A shame. Boerhaus Frederick Skinner did a great deal of very interesting studies on pigeons.
Did you say his name was Skinner? That might be the best name ever for a guy that works with animals. Blue, I thought you weren't going to interfere with me being me.
I am not. I am changing my responses. You are still free to do what you will, just sometimes I shall not be providing reaction.
What if, by ignoring me, I do something worse? Like, what if I would set Janus on fire?
This conversation has gone in a direction that I am greatly in favour of. Then I guess I would have to review the system and adjust accordingly. Please do not set me on fire to prove a point, Remus. However, Remus,
Yeah?
you have shown great talent for creativity and generating new ideas. I see no reason that when faced with a lack of response, you would not be able to come up with something else to say or do.
Like, I could just set Janus's liar liar pants on fire instead.
That is still not funny, Remus. Just like it wasn't the last 27 times.
Remus, what is going on? Well, I woke up this morning and I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a sudden overabundance of crabs all over the place? So I've been making crabs. Lots and lots of crabs. It is book group day. Logan will be here in less than an hour and I will not host the book group in an area infested. Then you'll just have to tell him book group is cancelled today because we've got crabs. I will not, because either he will fall for your intentionally misleading statement, and then I shall have to try and reassure him that we don't have an outbreak of pubic lice in the dark side, or he will not get it, and I will have to explain that even though I know pubic lice are not technically crabs, the colloquial term for them remains taxonomically incorrect. Logan is likely to go off on a rant and inaccurate naming conventions. That does sound like the kind of thing that would get his knickers in a knot. Is there any way I could convince you to move your crab collection somewhere else? Anywhere else?
Nah. How about filling every one of the light side kitchen cupboards?
Ooh. Remus, by any chance did you happen to gift a kettle to the light sides today?
Yep, it's all brand new and shiny.
And did you perhaps mention to Patton that it was a voice-activated kettle?
Yeah.
Remus, is the kettle voice-activated?
Not even a little bit.
Logan informs me that Patton has spent the last 20 minutes yelling at the kettle trying to make a hot chocolate. Bravo. Who dared tell my brother his ideas weren't up to scratch? Give me a name so I can start smashing teeth down throats.
It's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
Shut up, Roman. I'm sticking up for you.
Remus, why don't you try using your words rather than your mace?
I've got some choice words for you, Patton. Starting with a big ol'
No swearing.
Fine. When I find out who is disrespecting my brother, I'm going to expletive them with a sideways pineapple.
I think I said it when you were threatening people with your mace.
Janus,
Not my name.
hypothetically,
I adore when you use that word. It always bodes so well.
how angry would you be on a scale of 1 to 7 3/4, with 1 being that you might make a bit of a face, and anything above 7 meaning that I ought to relocate to the light side because you might murder me if I stay within range, if I were to explode a 20-gallon tub of tomato ketchup in the kitchen?
Hypothetically, if such an event were to have occurred and you have rendered the kitchen into a ransacked red mess, I would be about 5 on your scale. Remus, have you exploded a 20-gallon tub of tomato-based condiment in the kitchen?
No. Just a 10-gallon tub, which is half the number, so you're only allowed to get half as mad.
I am going to need so much wine this evening. Listen. Do you hear that? Peace and quiet. Bliss. No, I have not thrown Remus down several flights of stairs. How very dare you accuse me of such? I have simply set him to the task of making dinner. Pea soup. I know what you're thinking. Janus, you shockingly handsome and sophisticated side, have you lost your senses? Remus is sure to mispronounce the vegetable name and is currently in the process of making something really quite vile in the kitchen. Please, give me some credit. I've ensured that urine will play no part in today's dinner. nor the garnishes, or the accompaniments, or the drinks served. The only oddity of the recipe is a very small amount of squid ink, which Remus is using to paint little eyes and screaming mouths onto each and every one of a packet of peas that he is using to make the soup. He's been at it for hours. In return for making the soup, I have said that he is allowed to take some photographs. He rightly pointed out that while he is no longer allowed to make soup in the presence of Patton, there's nothing stopping him from taking photographs of the process. He plans to make a flipbook. We've a small wager going on to see which will turn more green, the soup or Patton's face when he sees the poor little peas about to get blended. Remus, have you seen my spare gloves? I seem to have misplaced them. I'm a reindeer. Where's that deviant hunk, Christoph? I am an articulate individual. I know a great many words, but at present the vocabulary for this escapes me. When you are done being a reindeer with admirous designs on a Disney character, come find me and return my gloves. Until then, I suspect I shall be drinking a great amount of tea. Perhaps something even stronger. Janus is letting me make tea today. Janus is already reconsidering having agreed to this. Quit your fussing. I'm following all the rules you laid out about tea. I'm using leaves that are actual tea leaves and not just random leaves I found on the ground. I'm using fresh, clean water out the tap and not salt water or toilet water. And I'm not using water so hot it burns the kettle. And I'm not using cups that leak or explode. So there we are. Nice cup of tea.
That is not tea.
It is so.
It looks like pond.
Yeah. This is matcha green tea. It's a type of green tea that's used grinding up all the leaves. And they mix it with the water and so you drink it all down and you don't steep it at all. It's supposed to be extra good for you. Plus it looks like pond water. Remus, what is that?
It's my new pet.
One, that's not a pet. It's a bucket full of some weird yellow goop that you have put googly eyes on. And two, you are not allowed pets. It's one of the rules.
Tell me exactly what I'm not allowed as a pet.
Remus is not allowed the following as pets. Any animal, fictional or otherwise. Any plant, fictional or otherwise. Mushrooms, because Logan insists they're not plants. And, after the animatronic taxidermy incident, you are not allowed anything non-living as a pet. Not to mention the fact that you tried to play fetch with a pet rock and nearly concussed Patton.
This is a slime mold. It's alive, but it's not a plant or animal or mushroom. Therefore, I get to keep it as a pet.
Nothing fictional. You made that up.
Nuh-uh. Logan, buddy, need you to back me up on something because you're super smart and Janus doesn't believe me, which is a bit rich coming from him, really. This is a slime mold, right? It's not a plant or animal or mushroom and it's not fictional. That is correct.
But if it's not a plant or animal or fictional or fungus, then what is it?
Ah, Fugio septica, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, dog vomit slime mold. It's even got a brilliant name. Janus, to clarify, slime molds are eukaryotic organisms of the Protista classification, like kelp.
But kelp is a plant.
No, it's not.
I have not had nearly enough tea to reevaluate the intrinsic nature of what I think is and is not a plant. Remus, did that thing in your bucket just move?
Yep, I'm gonna call him Gunk.
I am probably going to regret asking, but Remus, why is your bucket full of goop alarmingly empty?
Gunk escaped.
Gunk escaped.
Yeah, slime molds do that.
Of course they do. You were supposed to keep it contained.
I did try, but slime molds are good at getting out of things. Did you know they can solve mazes? They don't even have a brain.
Brainless, huh? Perhaps you should be Roman that keeps one as a pet. More suited to his intellect levels and... yes, I completely remembered that you are not exactly a fan when I besmirched the name of your brother. Duly noted. You can put the mace down now, Remus. Logan.
Ah, Janus, what can I do for you?
Remus's slime thing has taken over 2 of the walls of the dark side common area. It keeps pulsating and it is spreading.
Slime molds are known for exponential growth.
Super duper. How do I kill it?
With great difficulty. Slime molds are resilient and can even reinvigorate after being completely dried up and inert for years.
So not only is it disgusting, it's practically immortal. Wonderful! Remus told me that you were the one that introduced him to slime molds. Why would you inform him of such an entity's existence? Unless... Is this your revenge for me impersonating you?
Perhaps.
Well played. Logan, do you have a moment? I can come back later if I'm interrupting.
I am free at present.
Remus is apparently very adamant that I make amends for impersonating you. I think he's been baiting the slime thing closer and closer to my personal quarters in order to encourage me. And I absolutely want that thing in my room. So, I am not going to apologise for impersonating you. However, in hindsight, I accept that I might have done you a bit of a disservice in not consulting with you beforehand, or finding some other way that you might have been more included rather than substituted. I genuinely do not want us to reconcile our differences. I only have selfish motivations, you understand. You have proven an unwise side to make an enemy of.
Your words are appreciated, Janus. Thank you.
So, about Remus's slime mold.
Slime molds dislike heat and light, so you could use your heat lamps by your door to dissuade its growth into your quarters.
I could even use the heat lamps to drive it back towards Remus's room. Thank you, Logan.
You are welcome. And you've answered my query of whether you enjoy basking in heat and light by confirming that you do indeed possess heat lamps.
I do not own several heat lamps.
Deranged troublemaker!
Yep.
You skunk-haired, but a skunk would smell better lunatic.
That's me.
You counterproductive, uncontrollable, crazy, constant thorn in my side.
Oh, shucks, you're making me blush.
How did you even manage to get Patton that upset with you? He's a walking marshmallow.
Natural talent, I guess.
He even tried to throw a fork at your face.
Ha! Too bad he can't throw for
Shh! Not another word out of you.
Don't you want to know what I said?
No! Maybe a little.
I only asked Patton how much he likes rainbows. He really, really, really likes rainbows, by the way. And so I told him that since dogs are colourblind, puppies can't see rainbows.
That would do it.
Yeah.
I would ask if you've learned your lesson, but you're grinning in a manner that is so very reassuring.
Just wait till I tell him that cats are one of the only mammals that can't taste sweetness. So no cookies for cats. I spent all night making your surprise. I thought you'd be a little bit more grateful.
I will not thank you for invading my side of the imagination with a herd of those things.
You like unicorns.
Those are not unicorns.
Well, they've got the horn at least. Unicox. Patton, I want to give you one of these.
Remus!
A bagel. I made a batch of them and they're in the oven. They'll be ready soon.
Oh, thank you, Remus. I would certainly rush to thank him. Remus, have you followed every one of your food-related rules?
Yes. My baked goods today are edible, not poisonous, non-toxic, non-hallucinogenic, fit for human consumption. The ingredients are standard ingredients, there's nothing non-food in them, and they're all in date. Oh, and I followed the recipe exactly.
Wait. Bagels have holes in them.
Mm-hmm.
Remus, did you by any chance interfere with the bagels that you are so gleefully offering? Ugh, that's disgusting.
Hey, he said it, not me, and I've not done anything to the bagels.
Do
Hello?
not expand upon that thought. Seems that Remus has made some perfectly edible bread products.
Yeah?
What's the catch?
There's no catch. But did you know?
I knew it.
Did you know that bagels are one of the top 10 most dangerous things you can find in the kitchen? They cause more ER emissions than pressure cookers, skewers and garbage disposals all combined. People injure themselves slicing them in half because they are soft and round and knives are so very, very sharp. So tuck in. But, maybe save me back a couple to interfere with later. I'm aware that through my style of expression, communications can and do sometimes occur. But usually, Remus, you are good at figuring out what I mean, even if my words do not always match. So you can understand why I am somewhat puzzled about how you could interpret, let us try not to annoy the light sides as much, as please drive an industrial vehicle through their living room.
You asked me to dial back on the chaos, so I looked up more standard pranks, and they're all really boring. Nobody gets maimed or traumatized or anything. But then I saw a common shape was to rickroll somebody.
Rick-rolling does not involve a steamroller.
It does when I do it.
I'm going to add to the book something about vehicles, especially ones that do not fit through an average door frame.
You know the rules, and so do I.
Patton! Janus and Logan are keen for us to get on better, so I'm here to try and get on better. You like cats, right? Yeah, I know, but I have a cat fact for you. If you were to take a Siamese cat and put it in the fridge, it would change colour. Not because it's dead. You wouldn't like a fact about a dead cat. Janus told me so. So did Logan. Repeatedly. Siamese cats, like the super racist stereotype ones from Lady and the Tramp, they have an enzyme in their fur that is temperature reactive. That's why their ears and paws and tails and noses are all darker than the rest of the cat, because those are the bits that are colder. So, if you took the whole cat and put it in the fridge for a long time, as its fur grew in, it would get darker and darker fur. It would also probably be a bit ticked off. So don't put cats in fridges. Hey, look at that! A cool cold cat fact and animal welfare advice. I don't know what Janus was so worried about. I'm great at this. Oh... Virgil, Patton's got a question about Disney for you. Not a rule per se. When Virgil left, Remus was surprisingly upset. For one that normally adapts well to change, this sudden shift in our circumstances seemed to shake him. Perhaps he was even scared. So he set about trying to make anxiety nervous and uncomfortable, so that it would prompt him to return to more familiar territory. He weaponized moths and set them to target Virgil's hoodies. Several garments were rendered threadbare, but Virgil still did not return. I think that the holes made by the larvae might have been where he got the idea to use purple patches, though. In the past, I had taught Virgil how to sew a stitch, hidden, unseen, my specialty. It has not escaped my notice that he has chosen to use stark and obvious stitches to repair the damage made by the moths. Ah, here you all are.
Roman and Remus are fighting.
Again?
They've been going for ages. I'm starting to get worried that it's not the usual sparring match.
Remus does usually yield to Roman by now.
Give it up. Villains always lose.
Why I always got to be the villain? Maybe I want to win for once.
You are hardly hero material, dark dastard. Being a villain suits you better.
Well, if Remus is the villain, then villains do not have to play fair. Harder to win, I should think, with one hand occupied.
Ha! Eat dirt, bro. Janus, you wretched cheat. You caused me to lose. You've exactly 3 seconds to get that overcompensatory measure you call sword away from Snaky Face, and, oh dear.
Back off, Roman. Snaky was just helping me prove a point.
He was? I was?
Sure. Snaky doesn't need another reason to rile you up, not when the pair of you already bicker like a pair of old biddies at a nursing home. With rather lax safety standards, and enough oxygen canisters to make a really satisfying explosion.
Your point, Remus.
Ah, hide the point. Roman, you've got this bee up your butt about good and evil and villains and heroes, and it sucks. It means you hold yourself up to stupidly unobtainable high standards. Heroes lose sometimes. It's what makes a good story. And so I was kind of hoping that maybe if I could show you that losing wasn't the end of the world, maybe you wouldn't get so upset when you lost.
You've given me a lot to think about. Don't strain yourself.
Snaky! Come on, bro, let's whip his butt.
I believe that is my cue to leave. What was all that about?
No one gets to insult my brother but B.
I was referring to the part about me helping you. I was not aware that you had such a plan, and I was certainly not privy to the role that you meant I play.
Well, that was a lie, but you know that. Thanks for not telling him, by the way. I could see you biting your tongue again.
I was not at all intrigued to see what you were up to.
I've been meaning to have that conversation with my brother for a while now, and he also didn't need another reason to dislike you. You guys fight enough. Don't get me wrong, I like an argument as much as the next guy with lots of shouting and swearing and maybe even a Molotov cocktail or two thrown across the room, but it's getting worse, not better. And seeing as I'm trying to make an effort to make getting along better with the light sides, maybe you could not provoke my brother into cutting your head off. I know Roman's not easy to get on with, but neither am I.
I find you completely intolerable, and I will try not to antagonise Roman as much.
Good. Because if you make more snide remarks at my brother, I might have to start removing bones. Starting with one of the little tiny ones in your ear. The rules regarding etiquette at the dinner table have undergone a process of fine-tuning of late. There is an extensive list of things that Remus is not allowed to do at the dinner table, which include chew his toenails, projectile vomit, summon a swarm of locusts, chew his toes, and stab others with cutlery. We had to review the wording of dinner table when Remus tried to do one of the aforementioned actions during breakfast. I had not had nearly enough tea to deal with picking locusts out of my teacup and teeth. The rule now regards any time anyone else is eating or drinking, and since this morning we have added a new rule. Remus is not allowed to chew toenails, including his own, but especially mine.
You made that clear when you kicked me in the face to get me off your foot. But while we're on the subject, are you saying that you do have toenails to chew? Because that would mean you have toes. Because me and Logan, we don't know if you have toes or not.
Remus,
Eep.
have you been avoiding me today?
More like giving you space.
I was not aware that I needed space.
Well, I figured I was either due a super long lecture or a bonk on the head by your staff, given what you found in the microwave this morning. But you seem to have calmed down now.
I have not had cause to look in the microwave today.
So you should continue to not look. For maybe ever. Since Remus has gone charging off to go and find that particular piece of fan fiction, it falls upon me to thank you for drawing his attention to it. Thank you so much. You've likely made Remus's week, and subsequently made Logan's a heck of a lot more interesting. It has come to my attention that many of you have been asking questions about my physiology. In particular, due to the fact that I have a snake-like appearance, what I may lack or have extra of. In a rare bout of candidness, I've decided that I will answer your questions, truthfully.
Really?
Yes, really.
Oh wow, can I call Logan? Because he's going to want to hear this, because me and him, we've got something serious.
Go ahead.
Logan, Snaky's going to do a reveal all about his anatomy. Really?
Yes, really. In answer to your questions, yes, no, no, of course, doesn't everybody, and finally, no.
That was less than informative.
Now, I will be answering no more questions about my personal attributes on account that they are personal. Else you might just find out if I'm venomous or not through first-hand experience. Roman, I would like to extend to you an open invitation to join our book group, should you wish to. I thought it might help dissuade you of the concern that myself and Remus are somehow corrupting Patton and Logan.
I have more important things to be doing than reading.
It is a book group. Remus sometimes utilises the time to fill up one of his sketchbooks or write down one of the stories that he has thought up. Perhaps that idea might appeal to you as well?
I have had an idea or two that I've been meaning to get down on paper.
So, can I expect to see you at the next book group?
Maybe. I make no promises.
Tea and biscuits are provided.
Will you get all snooty if I dunk my biscuits in my tea?
I make no promises.
Bro?
I cannot think of the right word. Perhaps we might be of assistance. I'm looking for another word for shout. Vociferation. No.
Ejaculate!
Remus! Technically correct is a form of exclamation, but the crude connotations are perhaps not what Roman is seeking at the moment. Certainly not.
Whisper.
Janus suggesting an antonym rather than a synonym, the opposite of a word. So, the opposite of the opposite would be bellow. That's it!
Sometimes, just sometimes, real life can be far more bizarre than anything I could dream up. One of the first microwave ovens was developed to thaw out and resurrect dead rodents. Once upon a time, there was lab technicians working on radar technology, and one of the scientists realised that a bar of chocolate in his pocket had melted, and that's when we discovered that microwave radiation could be used to heat up and cook objects, like scientists. And so the first microwaves were massive because they had all the shielding to protect the people. In a different lab, they were working on freezing rodents and then resurrecting them to learn how to preserve organs for human transplants. It didn't work very well, though. So this guy, Lovelock, he went, what about if we use microwaves? And after very gently microwaving some of the critters that were clinically dead, some of them got up and walked around, and it was a massive success. Woo! But unfortunately, it doesn't scale up very well because humans and their organs are much bigger, and you need to be able to freeze something very quickly and then heat it up again very quickly to prevent cell damage. I know. I tried. The frozen lung I put in the microwave oven, exploded. And that's why I'm not allowed to put human organs in the microwave anymore. Those should not be there. Remus, as I deem it highly likely that you have something to do with the range of decapods in the cupboards, I would ask that you collect them. Don't you mean crabs? No, many of these creatures are not crabs. It is an interesting evolutionary habit of animals that are not crabs to develop more and more crab-like features, however. It is a process called carcinization. The coconut crab, hermit crab, porcelain crab, these are not true crabs, despite their names. Huh. However, Remus, you are to be commended. I imagine it was somewhat hard for you to resist the temptation to include pubic lice. Also, not crabs. So hard. Moving swiftly on. Most interesting, however, is the horseshoe crab. Not a crab, nor even a crustacean. It is known as a living fossil due to the fact that it originated 244 million years ago. It is a fascinating creature. It swims upside down and has blue blood that is harvested for medical purposes. Wow! And I thought they were just some weird-looking helmet crabs things with spikes. I'm going to make some more and draw them because it's book group day and I've got a new sketchbook. But you will remove the decapods from the cupboards. Already gone.
Remus, Logan, which one of you brought the crabs back?
You get 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count.
Remus was intrigued by the unusual nature of these creatures.
So I made more. Lots of horseshoe crabs.
Where is the book? I am banning more than 1 crab at a time.
You should go right ahead and do that.
Actually, horseshoe crabs are not...
Don't wreck the surprise.
You can't get mad at me for cleaning. You asked me to.
What I asked was that you tidy the common area. There were a few used cups, half a packet of biscuits, some small piles of sketches, and for some reason 2 soggy trainers, both of which were for left feet.
And I did tidy.
See, me and Logan were talking about Hercules, the little cleaning robot, because I was teaching it some new expletives. But then I asked why Logan chose that name, and Logan told me all about the Greek myth. Hercules at one point has to clean up this really stinky stable, and so he diverts a river through it. Logan didn't know if any of the animals drowned, but I like to think that they did. Anyway, then you asked me to tidy up the common area, so I diverted the river through it. Of course you did. The common area, as well as missing a couch and a coffee table,
They kind of floated off downriver.
is now decidedly damp.
Like a swamp.
Clean up your mess.
But I did that already.
Where's the mop? Mopping the floor, 'cause Snaky has that look. That means there's going to be lots of new rules in the book. Everybody thinks butterflies are so pretty. Little flashes of colour and rainbows, and they are wrong. Butterflies are disgusting. Some butterflies are known to drink poop, and others are known to feast on rotting carcasses. But hang on to your kneecaps, because it gets worse. Seriously, those of a squeamish nature, skedaddle. Zebra long-winged butterflies are the state butterfly of Florida. Not only are they poisonous, and the caterpillars cannibalise their siblings, but they also engage in a thing called forced copulation, or pupal mating. This is when the males rip into the chrysalis of the females before she's finished transitioning. It's vile. But don't cry, because some butterflies are known to drink tears. Morning, Snaky Face. Why are you hanging out by the fridge? I think I'm hungry. You didn't eat my yogurt, did you? Because it's been in there since last year and was just getting good and lumpy. Janus, you're freaking me out. What's up? My electric blanket malfunctioned last night. You're cold? Yes.
Oh, then I'll go grab you a blanket. Janus!
Noggin! Janus's electric blanket broke last night and he's acting weird. Fix him!
His temperature is elevated.
Uh-huh. I brought him a whole bunch of blankets and hot water
Remus,
bottles and...
he is too warm. Cold-blooded doesn't just mean he gets cold. It means that he has difficulty regulating his temperature. He can get too cold or too hot.
Oh, F-word waffles. You mean I made it worse? But he said he was cold and... Remus, you forsaken fool. He was lying. I should have
Get
known
some
it.
frozen goods wrapped in towels and some chilled fruit juice. And a glass as well.
But he's going to be okay.
Absolutely. I can guarantee it. Falsehood. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you recover. Remus, you should be pleased to hear that Janus's temperature is approaching acceptable levels. He's currently very sleepy, but you could go and visit him if you wanted.
No, he probably doesn't want to see me. I'll let him rest.
Remus,
I didn't mean to hurt him.
I believe you.
It's just that even when I try to help it, sometimes all goes wrong. I brought him loads of blankets thinking that's what he needed and nearly parboiled the snake. And now he's going to blame me and hate me and he's maybe going to leave and...
Remus, it's okay. Breathe with me. Think of neurotoxin and hold your breath.
You know about that?
Yes, Virgil told us how you helped him. Now it's your turn. Deep breath in and hold it.
I should have known better. I hang out with Snakey all the time. I should have been able to tell that he was lying.
In cases of extreme temperature, even people without the predisposition towards lying sometimes act in confusing ways. Have you heard of paradoxical undressing?
Undressing like getting naked?
Yes.
Tell me more right now.
When in extreme cold, people sometimes misinterpret the sensation as cold as intense heat. They will attempt to remove clothes even as they are freezing. In some unfortunate cases they have perished and been found in various states of undress while covered in snow and ice. It has often bewildered investigations into their deaths.
You mean to tell me there's such a thing as butt-naked corpsicles? Thanks, Deep Blue. Not just for making me feel less like crap, but also for helping Snaky. Saved the day. Snaky Face?
Ah, Remus. Come in.
You like tea, so I brought tea-making stuff, but you don't like it when I make tea because you worry about what I've done to it. So I brought all the stuff along so you can watch me make it and I'll do exactly what you say and then you don't have to worry about it. And you should have tea because you like tea.
Remus.
And then once you have the tea, I can sort right off because maybe you want some time to yourself to rest and recover, or maybe you can't stand the sight of me because I nearly cooked you, or maybe you can't be bothered with me anymore.
Remus. Calm down. I am okay.
Really?
No.
You stupid snake! Don't you go nearly dying on me ever again. Got it?
Well, that upsets my plans to repeat this delightful experience again next Tuesday.
Don't you dare or I'll bash your head in myself. There is absolutely no reason that I can think of for you to have a bag of blood, let alone one that is leaking. Take it away. I see you were going over to the light side. Have fun. Dinner is around 6. Logan!
Yes, Janus?
I promised Remus that I would not attempt to knock some sense into you with my staff, so we are going to use this as a teaching moment.
I may take a step or two back out of range regardless. You seem incensed.
Really? I had not noticed. What did you think would happen when you told Remus that a medieval flail was never actually used as a weapon?
I thought that Remus would find it interesting.
Oh, he certainly did. He has in fact made one. He spent the last 2 hours trying to prove that it could be utilised as a piece of weaponry. I've had to duck on more than 2 occasions on account of Remus literally flailing about the place with a large piece of jagged metal attached to a chain. I hate to think of how many times he's knocked himself in the head with the thing. What have we learned?
That I was right. The flail indeed seems a very ineffectual weapon.
Not even remotely the point, Logan.
Remus, I have a heroic hero battle scene choreographed out for the latest chapter of my thrilling tale. I want to act out to admire the flow and pacing. I could use a sparring partner.
Sorry, bro, no can do. I'm meeting Logan in the lab to look in on our covalent compound reaction. Covalent compound reactions take ages, but something should have happened by now.
You want to hang out with the nerd, and not me?
Yes. Besides, we've got a wager on. I think something should have happened by now, but Logan thinks it'll be another 6 hours at least. If I'm right, Logan's going to lay out a whole bunch of chemicals, and I've got to figure out which one's which.
And if Logan is correct?
Logan's going to lay out a whole bunch of chemicals, and I've got to figure out which one is which, but I'm not allowed to drink any of the beakers.
I can't believe you'd rather do some boring science project with that boring bookworm than help me with my art.
Logan's not boring, he's brilliant. Besides, last time I wanted to fight, you said no.
You wanted to joust, with narwhal horns glued onto the horses' heads.
Yeah, unicorn jousting. Thought you'd have liked that.
The horses don't. They never do when you superglue narwhal horns to their heads. Never mind the jousting element.
The narwhals hate it too. Anyway, your fight seems probably way more predictable than the chemical reaction. I can see it now. The bad guy and the hero are squaring off against each other in the grand climax of a epic tale. The hero's friends that he's been gathering along the way are not there for some reason or another. The bad guy might have the more advanced weaponry or experience or power, but the good guy has a secret trick that he picked up 2 chapters ago at the end of an arduous trial that not only granted him a secret power, but also newfound confidence in himself. The bad guy looks at the hero and makes some disparaging remark about the hero's likelihood to succeed, and the hero answers with a clever quip. Then they fight. Clash, clash, fight, fight. The bad guy looks like he's about to win, but when the secret trick is revealed, the hero looks like he will save the day, and woo! But the bad guy is going to reveal that he is extra evil. Maybe he tries to backstab the hero when granted mercy. This causes him to fall off a cliff, or onto his own poisoned dagger, or to fenestrate himself. That means fall out a window.
I know what it means. You've been peeping at my notes.
I don't need to. They're all the same.
I follow the hero's journey format. It's a classic.
It's boring and predictable is what it is. And whereas I'm usually all about words with a big old dick in the middle of it, you're better than that, Roman. We are creativity. Take risks with your stories. Don't trudge down pathways proven. Try something new. Yeah, it might suck, but at least it'll suck in brand new novel ways. Which can be kind of fun as well. Take my word for it. You need to change things up a little bit. Like, what if the villain smashes the hero in the head in chapter 3 and splatters his brains all across the floor?
No chance.
What if the hero loses a leg, and then, instead of some grand, world-threatening foe, the hero has to fight a personal battle against infection and septicemia? And then against the world not accessible for people with only one leg?
No one would want to read that.
I would. Especially if the blood poison gets the hero in the end.
Fine. I suppose I could do with changing up the format of my stories. A little.
I could help.
Perhaps.
Great. But not today. I've still got some science to do. And hopefully some sulfuric acid to drink.
You cannot drink sulfuric acid.
Can so if you're quick enough. Or if Logan isn't watching. Or you win the bet about covalent compound reactions. Cross your fingers for me.
Okay.
Till they break.
No.
Worth a try. Bye.